Day one, race teams versus NASCAR. Oh, this is going to get ugly.
3, 2, 1.
What's up, everyone? Hope everybody out there is off to a great day. We're going to talk about some key points of today. Here we are, opening day of the trial. Race teams, 2311 Front Row Motorsports versus NASCAR. Today, jury selection and opening statements. And I want to look at some things right here, because one of the questions I have right now is if the influence of Michael Jordan is going to have any impact on this trial, which we're going to dive into here in a second. But yeah, we kicked it off. Michael Jordan showing up to the courtroom. He is the guy. He is the front person, kind of like he was in basketball for this trial right here, and well known all around the world, obviously. And was asked as he was coming in the courtroom by a reporter this morning whether he could believe, things got to this point. He had one word to say, and that was nope. So obviously, Michael's saving everything for the courtroom, going to let the evidence speak for itself. But kicked off today with jury selection. And here's where some of that influence come in, because a couple prospective jurors were immediately dismissed because they had to go on to say that they were huge Michael Jordan fans. And again, I don't know as you can go around any part of this world and not find somebody who doesn't know who Michael Jordan is. So a very, very curious question I have is how much of an influence this is going to have into it. But jury selection, I think what rather quickly, for what I was prospecting anyway, and come down to 6 men and 3 women that are going to be on this jury. And again, man, it's going to be very questionable whether any influence of Michael Jordan's a part of this, because Bob Proctor's put this out that NASCAR suits executives were walking into the courtroom and somebody jumped out and yelled, "Go MJ." So obviously, there's people on Michael Jordan's side, especially around this area right here. But then opening statements, each side allowed 75 minutes to give their opening statements. Start this whole trial off. But Judge Bell sat right there and already pissing off Judge Bell, because Judge Bell looked down, saw visuals that they had out there, things that they were going to present in their opening statements. Bad part, they weren't admissible in this court case right now or anything like that. Because if you know anything about court cases, you have to present stuff to the court to be admissible. Other sides can debate on it. They can object to it. And it's got to be ruled by the judge that it is admissible. Each side just shows up with stuff that they wanted to start throwing out. Judge ain't having it. So he disallowed all that from opening statements today. Not a good way to start this out already. But it shows each side, man, they had to go and re-prepare at this point right now, because obviously stuff that they were going to show and talk about was out the damn window prior to the lunch break. But, man, one of the things I like about this, or I find very interesting, is the witnesses for NASCAR, or for the teams right now. Because, we got these team owners. We got Rick Hendrick, Roger Penske, Richard Childress, obviously. That's going to be a fun little testimony right there. But another name that I find very interesting on this is Rob Kauffman. And this is for very good reasons, because if you know who Rob Kauffman is, he was the co-owner of Michael Waltrip Racing. And if you go back to think about what happened to Michael Waltrip Racing back in, I believe it was 2015 with the Spingate deal, well, they were fined by NASCAR $300,000, which in the end basically ended Michael Waltrip Racing. Now, if you know anything about Rob Kauffman, he's a huge investor, very business-savvy guy. And at that point, he said it wasn't a sound business decision to stay in NASCAR. So I think he's going to have some very interesting points to things like this. And who knows if all that old stuff's going to come up. But he's going to be looking at different things with that. And also, you got to look at him as who he is now in racing. Because Rob Kauffman is the co-owner of the IROC series, which is co-owned by Ray Evernham, which Ray Evernham was a co-owner of the SRX series, which is going to come up in this trial. So I'm looking at this right now as, does Kauffman have some other things that he's going to be bringing? It wouldn't even be allowed, first of all. But is there things of that nature? Because NASCAR was having this monopoly and putting these things over the SRX series, trying to keep drivers out of it. And we've saw through some of the emails and texts how much they just dislike that series. And we don't know the future of what Rob Kauffman and Ray Evernham have with the IROC series. They might want to do more with this, with getting cup drivers in. And NASCAR, obviously, doesn't want their drivers in other series like this. So I think that's going to be a very interesting testimony to see what Rob Kauffman does with everything. But now we got to look at what's going on, what's going to take place here, because what happens if each side wins? Now, obviously, right now, the teams, they want permanent charters for very damn good reason, because they want to say, hey, if we're putting this money into everything, we want to know this is permanent. It's going to happen. Right now, NASCAR can pull the plug. They can do what the hell they want to. And they also want damages, monetary damages for what's going to take to cover all this trial right here, plus for them running as an open team. So, man, that's a damn lot of money right there. And they also want to be able to make decisions, be part of the decisions that NASCAR makes, because NASCAR can go in there and say, hey, we want to do this, we want to do that. They're the ones that have to financially pay for all this stuff, so they want to see the table with this, which I think is pretty damn fair right there, especially if they're going to be the ones paying for it. But then we got to look over here at NASCAR. What happens if NASCAR wins? We've seen the writing on the wall. These teams are done. They're going to fold. It's going to be over. And that would be very wild right there, because then you got to look at it. Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, Noah Gragson, Todd Gilliland, Zane Smith, out of a ride. Their sponsors. What do their sponsors do? Where do they go? What happens to the charters? Does Dodge come in and buy all these things up? Well, they weren't going to buy all of them, but who knows? It's going to be a very interesting thing. So each side has so much to lose if they do lose. And everybody's talking about the appeals and everything else that'll take place. But Judge Bell's saying he wants to get all this done in one trial. He doesn't want to see appeals and all this stuff right here. Now, the interesting thing is the burden of proof is on the race teams. This isn't like a criminal case where the defendant has to go out there and do all this. This is on the race teams to prove that this is detrimental to them. So this is all on them to make things happen. And now we got, you got to look at the pros. You got to look at the pros of what NASCAR has involved in this right now, because NASCAR is going to go in there and say, well, these teams, they wanted the charters. They started the Race Team Alliance and everything else. They wanted these charters, everything else. We gave them to them. These charters have gone up in value. We all know this. Not going to go on about all this right here. But the payouts. Payouts have went up. They're getting more of the pie now. Getting more of that right there. They're guaranteed starting spots. They're guaranteed money all year long. They're going to throw everything that looks good for them at the wall right now and hope it sticks. But then you got to look at the cons of everything. And this is going to be the nasty emails, the messages, the text messages, everything else, because they have been, a lot of stuff's coming out. Let's just say that. You know about it. If you don't, go look it up, because it's quite interesting. But then also most teams are losing money. 2311 making a little bit of money with this situation. But again, you got other teams losing money. So it's going to be interesting to hear what all these different team owners, because they're going to be sworn in there to tell the truth. So it's going to be interesting to hear what these team owners say, like Rick Hendrick, Richard Childress, Roger Penske, to see how they actually feel once they get up there on the stand to talk about things like this. So all interesting. But again, I want to jump over here to Michael Jordan to close this out, because if you take a look right now at the other big sports name that was involved in a trial in the past, it took over the headlines. And I saw that this morning already across everything that I looked at. Michael Jordan is making news everywhere right now. And you got to look, does this influence of Michael Jordan, will it have an impact on this trial in different ways? Because people that are still on the jury right now, do they love Michael Jordan? Are they secretly fans of Michael Jordan? Do they got Chicago Bulls stuff all around their house? They just didn't want to say it because they want to be part of this trial? Or could they be people that dislike Michael Jordan? I mean, this is a very slippery slope right here, that if you got somebody up there who's on one side or the other, it could be very influential and make an impact. And obviously, it's going to continue to grow as this goes out. As more info comes out, people are going to get involved with this, start paying more attention to it. Man, we're just at the tip of the iceberg today. This is going to be very interesting. I'm going to stay up with it because I am right down the road from Charlotte. I might actually go up there. I don't know. Really don't like sitting in courtrooms, so see how I feel about that later on as the week goes and things happen. But I want to know how do you feel about it? Do you think Michael Jordan's influence is going to have any impact on this trial right here? And how do you feel at this point right now? If you had to make a decision right now, who are you going with? Who's your team that you're gonna vote for to make things happen right here? And let's keep this cool. Let's keep this kosher. Don't need no bad words. No none of that back and forth stuff. Just want to know what you're thinking after day one. But anyways, I hope everybody out there is off to a great week. Once again, I'm going to stay on top of this stuff. Try to keep you up with different aspects and throw some other little pieces in here. But man, as always, hope you're having a great week, and We'll see you at the checker flag.